Hi everybody, so new setup. I kind of have a terrible time setting up to make videos or taking photos because I have a small room and no lighting that is besides the natural light, and it's really hard to set up, so I apologize. Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 beginner Lolita advice that as a community we have decided is not good advice. This is actually a part of a Ruffled chat thread that was happening just the other day. I'll post the original comment here. And I kind of just went and picked out my top 10 advice that I agree shouldn't be given or should be critiqued. Let's get into it. So number 1. Stick to a single color scheme. A lot of people disagree with this, and I did as well, because I know that I've been seeing a lot of people suggest this to beginner Lolitas, that you can only buy main pieces or accessories, blouses, anything else in your wardrobe if it matches any other thing that you already have in your Lolita wardrobe. It's more so like, oh, I bought 2 pink dresses and I was thinking about getting this brown dress, and people are saying, oh, you shouldn't do that because you have pink in your wardrobe already, you should stick to the one color pink and things like that. I disagree, just because I think that you can do whatever you want in your wardrobe. I guess for being more cohesive, to have more colors that are similar to each other. Personally, I don't have an issue because I use a lot of neutral colors. I know a lot of people see neutral and solid colors to being more for baby Lolitas, or like it makes you seem not as advanced. Personally, that's just the style that I like. I like very simple and neutral tones to my outfits, so I never had an issue when I would want a navy main piece, but also I had a pink main piece because I would be using the same blouses. I mean, not exactly the same, but you know, I could use a white blouse for both of those things. So number 2, start buying from Devil's Inspired. No, we don't recommend this. I don't think anybody agrees with this anymore. This has been a huge thing with like Lore having a lot of sponsorships by them, and you know, I'm not gonna like shame that, because personally, if you need to make money, I guess that's fine. I guess the issue that comes with it though is that, you know, misguiding new people, and I guess really letting everybody know what comes with buying from a reseller like Devil's Inspired and how long you have to wait, how much upcharge there is. I would not glamorize it. It's one thing to have sponsorships and stuff to make money, but also newbies should not be directed to it because they're gonna waste a lot of their money. Okay, number 3. Black and white is Ida. I hate this because when I first got into Lolita back in like 2013, I also thought that black and white meant Ida because that's all I kind of knew from when I first got into the fashion. I didn't really know about old school. I kind of only knew from what the beginnings of 2010's Sweet Lolita revolution. I wanted to be in that, and so when I saw you know, what to stay away from, like the lace monsters and the examples that were given with those kinds of connotations and what it is to be an Ida, it was always with black and white color schemes. I've never actually really saw much else in terms of like main pieces. It was always black and white. That's so untrue. You can definitely make black and white work. Personally, that's one of my favorite color combinations for Lolita. I love old school Lolita now that I know what it is as I got older, and I really hope that people don't shy away from it. Number 4, OPs are harder to cord. I disagree with this because I think they're actually a lot easier, and I always thought this about just one-piece dresses in general, for even at normie fashions, I was always like, dresses are awesome because almost all your outfit's already completed. You just have to accessorize, right? And that's kind of the fun part. I agree, OPs are probably way easier because you kind of already have like half of your outfit already done. And the argument to that is kind of like, well, you can't mix and match blouses, you can't style it in different ways as much. But I disagree. I think you can still definitely style them in different ways. It also depends on the OP that you have, because if you have like one of those mini sleeve ones, you could wear blouses underneath those. That's a common thing that people do. And you also can, like, you know, wear caplets or boleros, or there's just like a bunch of different ways you can still style it. So that's just me though, because I do like OPs. The Lolitas aren't lovelies comment. I'm writing a blog about this. It'll probably be out by the time that I post this video, but I think that this statement is so stale now, and my personal opinion is I think it's kind of strayed away and construed from its original purpose. I think that people use the Lolitas aren't lovelies term in more of a way to just kind of give them a pass on being decent. And I'm not saying that everyone's a jerk in Lolita. I'm not trying to call people out. I'm just saying that I've definitely seen people be unnecessarily rude in tone and just straight up. Like, I know tone is hard to read through text and stuff, but just straight up like say rude things. And like, I don't understand that, because even if I'm irritated with something, I'm just more direct. Maybe that's just because I'm a different type of personality, I don't know, but I think it's kind of stale. I think we should just strive to being decent and like welcoming, and even if you're irritated with something, you can just like move on. That's just for me. You can disagree, obviously, you're your own person too. Number 6, don't thrift blouses / lollable is cutting corners. I highly disagree with this because I use a lot of my like vintage blouses and even some vintage dresses for Lolita, because I'm more of a classic Lolita. Obviously, if you're more very sweet and not in like an old school sweet way or in a classical sweet way, and you're just more in like you love Prince and everything like that, I do agree that it's probably better for you to look at actual Lolita brand blouses, or like off-brand Lolita blouses that are actually sold with Lolita clothes. I don't know how to explain that, but you know what I mean. I wouldn't suggest thrifting them unless you have a good idea of what the fashion is. Personally, I've been in a lot of alternative fashions. My styles have always been very close to what Lolita is. Even if I change sub-styles in Lolita, I still have a lot of things in my more normie wardrobe that work with Lolita in terms of blouses and such. So for me, I disagree with that, because I definitely have a lot of vintage blouses that I wear with Lolita that work very well. And obviously I wear classic, so classic is more vintage inspired than hyper sweet, but that's what I am saying on that topic. Number 7, solids are hard to cord because no print. I don't get this, because I feel like solids would be the easiest to cord, and they are, really. Don't be afraid of getting solids, because that's kind of what this is saying, is basically like, don't buy solids because you're gonna have a hard time cording them. I guess if you're doing crazy colors, it could be different, but if you want, we're gonna use sweet as an example because most people are into sweet Lolita and most beginners want to do sweet Lolita. So if you want to be a sweet Lolita, I would suggest doing something like a simple pink or sax or lavender or something, but probably pink is probably the best, because you know, you can get pink anything, anywhere, way more accessible than any other color for sweet. So I would say look for a like pink like bodyline dress. I know they do sets now, I think, but like I would say a pink simple bodyline dress like this one would probably be really good for you, because you can do like just white with that, and it actually looks very cute, very dainty. I love it. I think that's a really good introduction. I know that you want to probably just jump right in and like get a bunch of cool crazy prints and like go crazy, but like I do think that it would probably be more beneficial to you to do that. It'll probably be cheaper for you. You'll probably like it more, I honestly think, because it'll be like dipping your toes into it. Obviously this is just a suggestion, you don't have to do this, like do whatever, but I'm just saying that that's what I would do if I was trying to give advice to a sweet Lolita and trying to get into it. 8, you must have 3 chords to be considered Lolita. I've like seen people talk about this before, where I was briefly, one of my friends, she got into Lolita this last year, very early last year, and I had been away from it for a very long time, so we decided to look at a bunch of like beginner Lolita groups together, and there was this terrible amino, which I'm sure a lot of people have heard about. I witnessed it. It was this terrible amino that was like beginner Lolita amino. I wasn't really a beginner Lolita per se, because I already had done chords and stuff in the past. I've already, but you know, it's been a long time, so I was like, I'll be with my friend and support her, and we'll just see what's going on. So we got into one of them, and this is like the stuff that came from groups like this. It would be like, you have to only have one color in your closet. So dumb. I'm sorry, but like you don't need that. That's so like, why? Because this person on Amino said so, that it's only been in the fashion for 2 months. Anyways, they say stuff like you must have 3 chords in order to do this, or like in order to be considered a Lolita. That is stupid to me. I think that, you know, having a chord makes you Lolita. You're wearing Lolita. That's like saying me when I'm wearing pajamas, I am no longer a Lolita because I do not have my cord on or with me or something like that. Obviously I'm not wearing Lolita in that moment, but that doesn't mean that I'm not in the community and that I don't partake in it. Obviously there's a difference with researching Lolita and actually wearing Lolita, but to have like a certain amount of chords, I don't know, I don't get that. Like that's kind of irrelevant. Like no one's gonna know how many chords you have when you go to a meetup. They're not gonna be like, how many chords do you have? 2? Sorry, can't come in. Like that's so dumb. Number 9, keep your Lolita separate from your normie closet. You can do whatever you want if you decide to do this. That's totally up to you, not my business. For me though, I can't afford to just buy Lolita clothes and not wear them for a lot of the year. I would like to, like, even just something like this is a lot more formal, so it's not like I can just wear this to work, but like I can wear this to formal events, or for myself. Obviously events aren't happening right now, you know what I mean. So most of what I get for Lolita I justify buying because I can wear it in my daily life. I probably don't wear like a big poofy petticoat. I'll wear like a small one, or maybe not one at all, and I'll just wear stuff more like otome or old school looking things where it's a lot more settled down. But I still wear my clothes because for me that's what gives me a reason to spend money on it. Obviously if you're in a different circumstance, you might not have to do that, or maybe you just only like wearing Lolita to conventions and stuff. That's cool, but for me, like that's kind of like my normal wear anyways. I just wear frilly stuff like that, and that's just me. 10, the number 10, brilliant advice. Brilliant advice. Advice only given based off of OTT Suite for all substyles. Now this was what I said. And I'm not trying to be like, good job, I got a really good comment. No, this is just something that I said, just saying, and a lot of people agreed with, so I figured I should put it on the list. I'm kind of sick of hearing advice given to newbies only based on OTT Suite, because I will see if someone wants to do let's do classic because I do classic. Okay, so someone wants to do a classic chord, and they post themselves wearing an OP, and it's a long sleeve OP with simple tights, simple Mary Janes, and a simple headdress, and maybe one necklace. I see sometimes people critique like, oh, you should add more to your head, you should add more poof to your A-line petty, you should add printed, patterned tights, and you should add tea parties, which I personally, like, I don't think there's an issue if you want to wear tea parties for classic at all, that's fine, but I'm just saying that, like, you shouldn't suggest somebody to wear definitely a way more sweet type of shoe when they're wearing something obviously already more classical, and just things like that, because a lot of people were saying how in Big Sisters of Lolita Fashion, the Facebook group for advice, that they didn't like seeing little sisters give advice to other little sisters or siblings. Personally, like, I don't want to comment on that because I think it's very circumstantial, but to me that's a similar thing for people commenting on things where it's a substyle they have no experience with or have any proper education on, because it's just irrelevant at that point, I guess. Alright, well, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment on what you think, and yeah, I'll see you later. Bye.